Hello and welcome to a new episode of Premier Perspective. Today we're going to be covering Match Week 15, what is known over in England as Boxing Day. There's a lot of great games that are going to be played on the 26th of December, and we're looking forward to covering all of them. First off, we have the biggest game of the week, Leicester versus Manchester United. Now, Leicester had a huge win over Tottenham, 2-0. They played well. Tottenham didn't really play that well, but Leicester did as good as they can, and they took the victory. They're in second place. So a lot of props to them for what they've done so far in the season. United just came off a really impressive win versus Leeds. So both teams are looking pretty strong.
Yeah, United looked great, especially with McTominay scoring twice in the first 3 minutes. Leicester pressed everything out of Tottenham, didn't really give them a chance. They just held them to it. Even though Tottenham had their chances, Leicester really pressed them in, and they played really impressive and now sit second, I'm pretty sure 4 points off top. I have my first key player in this match. I have Marcus Rashford. I think he's going to play really well. Martial took over during the week in the FA Cup, but not FA Cup, EFL Cup, which we have a video coming on later today. You'll see it yesterday, so go watch that too. But I think Marcus Rashford's going to kick it this week. He's going to be hungry for a goal. He always is. I love watching him play despite being a City fan. Kind of hurts. You would love to have him sometimes. But yeah, absolutely love the way he plays.
Yeah, I think Rashford's up for a good performance. I think this is a game that United could definitely win, and a person that I think will have an impact if hopefully Ole Gunnar Solskjaer starts him, which I think he should, is Paul Pogba. I always say that I feel like Paul Pogba gets an unnecessary amount of hate. I think that he's a really good player. I think that he does a lot for United when he's on the field, especially recently. So I feel like if Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford are both to the top of their game, that they're going to be able to go away with a victory in this game.
Yeah, for sure. Now we got our second game, Fulham versus Southampton. Fulham drew 1-1 to Newcastle last week. They looked okay. They had good energy as usual that you can expect from this recent Fulham team, which is great, but they just couldn't finish, which has been their problem, and that's why they're so far down in the table. Despite a 1-0 loss to City, Southampton looked really good against them. They're always really high pressing, but that could be an issue against a Fulham team that's going to come at you because there are a lot of holes in that midfield area, and City was able to take advantage of that. Whether or not Fulham will be able to take advantage of that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Fulham, we mentioned in the last video how they were able to pick up points, which is good. But I feel like against a Southampton team that's been on form, that's been playing well, I feel like this will be fairly comfortable for them. Next up, we have Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace just came off a terrible weekend last week with their 7-0 defeat to
Yeah, it's a
Liverpool.
big one. Big hit.
Liverpool did look good, though, in that game, so you can't, really put too much blame on Palace. But on the other side of that fixture, we have Aston Villa, who took a solid 3-0 win versus West Brom. You can't really take much from that game, considering West Brom didn't really offer much, but Villa continued with their great form. In this game, I think Villa will be able to continue the form that they are in and win this game, I would say, fairly comfortably.
Next up, we got Arsenal-Chelsea. Also a big game, depending on how you look at it. Arsenal's been having a rough time, 14 points in 14 games. Currently sit 15th, 4 points off relegation, which is so surprising. It's ridiculous considering it's Arsenal. They lost 2-1 to Everton last week and a 4-1 loss to City in the EFL Cup. Didn't really play well in any of those, except maybe some of the second half of the Everton game. But on the other hand, Chelsea have been very good with a 3-0 win versus West Ham. Sometimes they struggled for goals. It's been kind of rough for them. Sometimes their goals are kind of scrappy, kind of tap in, the actual goals, sometimes they didn't really work for, but they're always working. You can't say they're not a working team with their system with Conte in there. Thiago Silva, who I actually have as my key player this week. Usually I don't put a defender as a key player, but I really think against a team like Arsenal, who are going to play good sooner or later, Thiago Silva knows how to take these type of games seriously, and he's going to be rock solid in that defense, and he's going to possibly even score a goal. He's got a couple goals this season, I'm pretty sure. And he's been, I'd say, a main identity of Chelsea's defense alongside Mendy, who's been really good as well.
And on the other side of form, someone who's been on somewhat of a poor form pretty much this season is Timo Werner. He hasn't really lived up to the expectations. However, I think that a breakout game is coming, and I feel like against an Arsenal team that's been pretty shaky, I feel like this would be a great time for Timo Werner to make a Premier League statement and show everyone why Chelsea paid the money that they did for him. Um, in terms of Arsenal, they've been pretty poor. I thought that they were extremely poor against City. If you haven't already watched it, go watch our EFL Cup video where I go into way more depth about why I thought Arsenal was terrible against City. But I think that Chelsea will be able to take this victory comfortably. But with the way things are, you never know what could happen. And if Arsenal were able to grab a victory in this game, I definitely wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Arsenal, like I said, soon enough they're gonna have to play good, and against a team like Chelsea, Arteta might be looking to pick up a big win here. That would be a huge statement for them. Next up, we have Sheffield Everton. Sheffield were able to pick up a second point in the season, finally against Brighton last week. It looks okay, but they missed so many opportunities, and they're just, it's just not looking good for them. Everton have been great lately, despite the low-scoring games. Um, City, not City. I was thinking City Everton because both are the EFL Cup, but against United losing 2-0, weren't able to score, but lost it right at the end. Beat Arsenal 2-1. So pretty low-scoring games. They've looked really good. They've looked solid as a unit. Their standout players haven't been standing out as much as I'd like them to, but that can't take away from the fact that they've been pretty solid defensively, and they've just been a good team overall. You can't take away from it. So I think they should win easily, probably about 3-1.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely an opportunity for Everton to continue on their great form that they've been in the last couple games. They started really well, then they were really shaky for a little, but now they're seeming to pick up their pace again. So I think that this is an opportunity to continue that. And next up, we have Manchester City versus Newcastle. Both of them played midweek, City winning 4-1 and Newcastle losing to second division Brentford. I think that this is another opportunity for Man City to implement themselves more in the Premier League, considering that to their standards, they haven't been the best. So I think that this is an opportunity for City to win the game and get some goals in. However, I know that the way that City's been, anything could happen. I mean, most people thought that a game against West Brom at home would be pretty simple for them, but ended up in a draw. So you never really know what could happen.
Yeah, with that, City's their inconsistency especially in the Prem, it's just been you can't predict anything, even against the smaller teams like West Brom and Newcastle. You should be beating. I think City will win the game probably about 3-1. But my third key player this week is actually Callum Wilson, despite Newcastle predicted to lose. Callum Wilson's going to be a danger for City, in my opinion, even though City's defense has been pretty strong. He has 8 goals and 3 assists in 12 games. And he's been really good for them. Newcastle probably sit about mid-table right now, if I remember correctly. So I think he'll kind of be a star of that game, and City's might have some trouble locking him down.
Yeah, for sure. It might be difficult. However, with City and their defense so far this year, I feel like a game against Newcastle should be solid from the defensive end. Now, just whether it's a question if they're able to score goals. But next up, we have Leeds versus Burnley. Burnley had a big victory over Wolves last week. They really looked good on the field. They took advantage of a deflated Wolves side. So I feel like Burnley is now in a form that they want to be in. And considering that they're near relegation zone, it's important for them to pick up as many points as possible. Leeds took a tough loss against United. They never really looked terrible, but they never looked good either. Despite scoring 2, they didn't really do much throughout the game. I feel like despite Leeds playing well in some games, they really haven't put up that many amazing performances in terms of, grabbing points from teams. So I feel like Burnley has a chance here to grab points against Leeds, but I could still see Leeds taking a victory here, but it can go either way.
Yeah, especially with the way Leeds play. And, Leeds and Bielsa, they've been getting a lot of props for their playing their style, no matter who they're playing, when they're playing, what they're playing, and what point in the game, which sometimes really doesn't make sense, but it's respectable for a team that just came up. And they've been playing really well. You can't deny that. Burnley, I'd love to see more of that Burnley that we saw against Wolves, but you could tell that they were still Burnley when they played. Like, they played good. They were just a good Burnley. They didn't turn into anything else except that. But I'd like to see more of it aside from that. I mean, they're the team that they are, and everybody's used to them kind of being mid to bottom table. I would love to see them um, play really well in this game, but Leeds will probably have the upper hand in this one, if I had to say, at the moment. They've been good this season overall. Some inconsistent performances, but overall they've been impressive.
Yeah, for sure. They've been impressive. I feel like I said, Burnley, this is their opportunity right now to make a statement and defeat Leeds. But next up, we have West Ham versus Brighton. West Ham last week lost to Chelsea, pretty much expected. Brighton tied to Sheffield. They didn't take advantage of their shots that they had towards the end of the game. Even though this is probably going to be a fairly even match, I think West Ham is going to have a slight edge being at home, and the fact that I feel like they're more clinical compared to a Brighton team. So I feel like West Ham will have the advantage and take 3 points here.
Yeah, I agree with that. Brighton struggled to score more than one goal against Sheffield, who's currently on 2 points, gave them their second one. West Ham, they lost to Chelsea, but you have to expect that. And they put up good performances against good teams. They have some really talented players in their squad. So I think West Ham will probably win this one about 2-1. Should be fairly comfortable for them, though. They'll definitely dominate the game. Unless Brighton, I'd love to see a good Brighton performance because I know they have it in them. But I think West Ham, coming off a loss at Chelsea, a good team, they'll be looking to pick up some points against a team that's lower down.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is an opportunity for West Ham to grab points. With West Ham, we've definitely seen two sides of them. Some days where they look phenomenal, some days where they look bang average. But I feel like they'll still be able to grab the 3 points here. But next up, we have league leaders Liverpool versus relegation West Brom.
Yeah.
West Brom is
It'll be
currently
a rough
in.
one. It'll be a rough one.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said I think it'll be a rough game for West Brom.
Yeah, definitely. West Brom's currently in 18th, right?
I'm sure 18th or 19th.
18th, yeah, I think 18th or 19th. I don't know, but they're in the relegation zone. Liverpool just came off a 7-0 victory over Palace. West Brom just came off a loss. New manager. I really don't see any problems for Liverpool here, unless something crazy happens. I think I have as my key player Salah. I think that he's gonna play well. I think he's gonna score goals like he usually does. As annoying as Salah can be for me sometimes, considering
He's an
that
annoying player to play against. Yeah.
Yeah, considering that I'm a Man City fan, Salah isn't really my favorite player, but he puts in performances, and there's no denying his talent in front of goal. So I feel like this is an opportunity for Salah to probably up his tally. I don't know how many goals he has so far this season, but he'll definitely, I think, at least grab one against West Brom.
So for our last game this week, we have Wolves Tottenham. This will be an interesting one. Wolves lost to Burnley 2-1. They look pretty shaky and really easy to break down against a Burnley team that looked good, but still you shouldn't look that vulnerable against Burnley. Tottenham should be able to catch them on the counterattack for this reason exactly, but the question is, will Mourinho attack or just keep staying back? Because we saw it Stoke during the week. They scored 22nd minute, let up 53rd minute, and didn't score again until about 70th and 80-something minute. So just Mourinho, you got to expect him to score a goal early and then be sitting back. And once he has to chase, then he's probably just going to sit back and on the draw. He doesn't really go for it that much. And everybody's kind of like, now at this point in the season, the beginning, it was working. But now we're like, all right, you got to do something now. So this will be an interesting one. I almost feel like it'll be a kind of boring game. I think Tottenham will win, maybe like 1-0 off like a like a stupid counterattack or a penalty or something. But overall, I think it's going to be a really boring game, this one, because Wolves, how vulnerable they are without Raul Jimenez. Podence really hasn't been able to take that place of him kick out. Fabio Silva he's played really well. I absolutely love him, but he's really young and he can only do so much in terms of experience. Not the same as Raul Jimenez at all. Ruben Neves has played really well, but they just can't find the back of the net. Tottenham can find the back of the net, but Mourinho just chooses not to. So I just think it'll be a boring one. Not really, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't really think it's going to be that interesting of a game. Just to do a quick little backtrack, because we were talking last about Salah. I actually just searched it up right now, and Salah is the top goal scorer in the league right now.
Oh
I
my
didn't
god,
realize.
I didn't notice that. How many is he on?
He's on 13.
Okay, that's solid.
And yeah, and the three behind him are Calvert-Lewin, Sung, and Vardy with 11.
Okay. Yeah, I think he'll probably add to that one this week. So.
But yeah, talking about Spurs Wolves, I agree with you 100%. I think that this is going to be pretty a boring game. I don't really expect much from it, but I think Tottenham will be able to win this game. Wolves, like you were saying, don't look like a threat attacking wise, especially without Jimenez. So it's going to be difficult. So I think that this is a fairly comfortable game for Tottenham. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for this week's preview. We want to say once again, thank you so much for anyone who's shown support to our channel. And we want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We appreciate the support and you guys watching our videos, sharing them on social media, like, subscribing, etc., etc. That's your Christmas gift to us.
No,
So thank you.
we appreciate it so much, and yeah, let other people know about it. I'm sure other people would love to hear about it. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching for us.
Yeah, and we really do. Soccer is plenty right now, so we will be back later on in the week with a Manchester City versus Everton reaction. We're looking forward to that. We're gonna have another guest on the show. So yeah, it's gonna be a great episode. So once again, thank you guys and see you guys soon.